We welcome you all from different parts of Asia. We see our friends from Europe as well. Welcome, and I think we're still expecting more people to join. Before we start, we kindly ask you to mute your audio or microphone while you're not speaking and while the speakers are addressing their points. But feel free to turn on your video so that we can see you. But if it affects your connection, feel free to also to turn it off. If you have questions or comments, feel free to address them during the discussion and sharing sessions later on, or using your raise hands feature in Zoom. You can find it in the if you click on the participants just below the screen, then you can see there's a feature there. Or you can later raise your questions and comments in the chat box while the discussion is taking place. Please be informed that we are recording the sessions today, and we will share you all as a documentation of this meeting. I think before we move on, I would like to check first. Because we're still having people try to join. Moving on to our agenda, I would like to invite Mr. Zar Gomez, our regional coordinator of Caritas Asia, to give an opening message. Also, we kindly ask him to do the opening prayer before we start this meeting. The floor is yours, Zar.
Thank you very much, Ari. Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to some of you who are just starting the day. We begin, maybe before I say my message, let us begin with an opening prayer. And for our opening prayer, let us pause for a moment. And in this moment of pause, let us think of our farmers, especially those who are gravely affected by COVID-19. We pray for them, and as we discuss about how we can continue working with them, let us think of their situations. Let us think of how we can also work more for their benefit and for our as part of our mission. So let us think of them in this silence, and let's pray for them while we think of them. Let us also offer the Lord's Prayer for them. Our Father in heaven, holy be your name, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Can you please help us in saying the Lord's Prayer? In your silence, let's pray the Lord's Prayer. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So good afternoon again to everyone. I'm sorry that I forgot the Lord's Prayer. That's a grave sin. And good morning to those of you who are just starting the day. Welcome to this webinar, where we will try to discuss within a couple of hours about the prospects of regenerating sustainable agriculture amidst the many challenges that the COVID-19 pandemic has brought to the various sectors of our society, including and especially the agriculture sector. But before anything else, allow me first to extend to you the greetings and best wishes from our regional president, Dr. Benedict de Rosario, who could not join us today because of another important appointment. Rest assured that even if he's not here with us, his thoughts and his wishes are with us. So he sends his greetings to all of us. I think at this point, we also wish to extend our gratitude to Caritas India, especially to Father Paul and Dr. Haridas for initiating this idea of doing this webinar. You may recall that we were actually supposed to hold a face-to-face farmers conference in India. That was last March, but we have had to cancel it, obviously because of COVID-19, which at the time was only starting to be gravely felt in about 17 countries, including Thailand. But now the pandemic is present in almost every corner of the world. except perhaps for some isolated places, which you probably know, thus making it even more difficult for us to pursue our initial plan of organizing a farmers conference in India. But thanks to Caritas India that they have proposed instead to hold this webinar as an alternative to that activity. We know, of course, that this is not 100% substitute or even an alternative to the farmers conference, as we won't be able to do here the other very interesting stuff that we usually do in a farmers conference, including the actual demonstrations on the field, the learnings we get from farmers, and many others. But I think this webinar is really a good avenue already for us to share our experiences and thoughts on how we can regenerate sustainable agriculture, especially at this time of difficulty. Of course, we'd also like to thank Adriana and Caritas Internationalis, as well as our own colleague, Ari, for engineering the concept and the design of this webinar. Together with Dr. Haridas, they planned how to go about this webinar. We thank these three great minds that we now have this roster of speakers and topics here in this virtual conversation. I understand that we don't want to be too technical in this conversation, so we have invited some of our national Caritas directors in Asia to share with us the current situation of their agriculture programs in the midst of the pandemic. Through them, you would also get a glimpse of how their farmers in their respective communities are coping with. May I request everyone to please turn their microphone in silent? Thank you. So as I was saying, through the sharing of our speakers, we will also have a glimpse of how our farmers in our respective communities are coping with the COVID-19 crisis. One of our speakers I will actually show us a farmer's testimony on how they are affected by COVID-19 and how they cope with the difficulties. I will not preempt who our speakers are today because I am sure they will be properly introduced before their sharing, but allow me to thank them in advance for their valuable contributions to this webinar. Their sharing, which I'm sure will revolve around their actual experiences and wisdom on the topic, are the very essence of this event. So we really thank them for this. In the name of our Caritas family in Asia, I also wish to express our sincerest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us in this important webinar. We are truly grateful for your presence, as we know that this would be a great opportunity for us to learn from one another, especially during the time when we would have an open forum. We are having here with us not just representatives from some of our 25 Caritas member organizations in Asia, but also representatives from some of our global partners. So we thank you all for your presence, and we encourage you to also share your thoughts whenever there is a chance during this webinar. Although, of course, we kindly ask you to be very brief and concise when you speak, because in fact, we only have about a couple of hours to do this event. Let me share with you the same thing that I said in another webinar organized by Caritas India on migration the other day. In that webinar, I mentioned that migrants are an integral part of our society. The migrants help shape not just our economies, but also our families and societies in Asia. So as Caritas and as church, we should not forget these migrants when we respond to COVID-19. I think the same can be said about our farmers, because they too are integral part of our society, and without them, we wouldn't be even talking about sustainable agriculture now. They are the primary sources of the food we eat. They produce our vegetables, our fruits, our meat and poultry, our dairy products, and many other things that we eat. But regrettably, they are also among the sectors of our society most affected by COVID-19. Now, most of our farmers, like most of us, could not even go out to farm, nor can they harvest and sell their products. And this is because of the necessary lockdown and travel restrictions imposed by most of our governments. Also, not enough buyers are also allowed to go out to buy their products, so their income that sustains their family is also affected. In fact, according to the World Bank, the prices of certain cash crops which is an important source of rural income, have been depressed by the slowing of global demand. The World Bank also says that the coronavirus crisis unfolds disruptions in domestic food supply chains and other shocks affecting food production. The loss of incomes and remittances are creating strong tensions and food security risks in many countries. The United Nations World Food Programme has warned that an estimated 265 million people could face acute food insecurity by the end of 2020. That's up from 135 million people before the crisis. So this tells us that the effects of COVID-19 to our farming brothers and sisters also affect most, if not all of us. Now, food insecurity during this pandemic is potentially on the rise. There is a grave threat of a shortage of agriculture in our markets. There is also uncertainty that we, as consumers, will not have enough supply of affordable and nutritious foods. And even if there would still be some supplies, access to them is now increasingly becoming difficult, not just because of movement restrictions, but also because of income losses. So the effects of COVID-19 is truly a ripple effect that extends to all of us. This is why we need to work together all the more and ensure that we don't left anyone behind, including the farmers. We need to join the efforts in ensuring that agriculture is still safely running as an engine of our sustenance. So as Caritas, let us ensure that we do not exclude the farmers from our works, especially in our response to COVID-19. I know that we do not have the farmers here with us now, or if ever there are, we only have a few of them here in this webinar, but they are appropriately represented by the most of you who are here. So in a way, that gives us an assurance that they indeed are not forgotten, nor are they excluded from our programs. After all, to include the farmers in our works is also to include them in an important part of our mission as church. This webinar is actually primarily intended to provide us a good venue on how we can continue working together towards regenerating sustainable agriculture. Although I know the time is very limited and we cannot really discuss very lengthily about certain topics we wish to talk about, but I'm sure the time, though short, is good enough to inspire us to continue our works on sustainable agriculture together with our farming brothers and sisters. Maybe I would even say that perhaps we don't just continue with our sustainable agriculture works, but also enhance our work all the more so as to be as certain that we are also adapting to the very strong challenges that we face from COVID-19. I think one such way to enhance our works on this field is to do the same as the others are doing, which is to join our governments and global partners, to advocate with our governments, to closely monitor domestic food and also the agricultural supply chains, to track down how the loss of employment and income is impacting people's ability to buy food, and also perhaps to ensure that food systems continue to function despite COVID-19 challenges. So I think this webinar can really be a good venue to discuss about how we would go about it. I do so encourage you to share us your thoughts and experiences today, if that's possible within the time frame, so that this webinar will really be a productive one and we can find a way on how we can work together all the more for our farmers. With that, I thank you all very much and I welcome you all again to this webinar. Thank you. Back to you, Ari. Ari? Hello? Ari, I'm not.
Can you hear me? Can you all hear me?
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Oh, sorry, the connection is not quite stable here. But thank you again, Zar, for the inspiring opening message and the call for us working together and a joint effort for all member organizations in Asia, specifically to always include smallholder farmers in our interventions, especially in this challenging time. So before we go into the next agenda, I would like to briefly introduce you to the people that we have invited to share their thoughts from today, as you can see in the agenda. But I would like just briefly mention that Shortly, we will hear a keynote address from Father Paul Mancelli. He is an executive director of Caritas India. Welcome, Father. And after that, we will hear stories, challenges, and opportunities from Father Lalit Tudu. He is the executive director of Caritas Nepal. And after Father Lalit, after Caritas Nepal, we'll fly to Kazakhstan to hear his thoughts and his sharing on sustainability for challenging time from Father Guido Tredzani. He's the executive director of Caritas Kazakhstan. And then after hearing from our member organizations in Asia, we will hear also from Caritas Internationalis about the global the view of sustainable agriculture in these challenging times, in this COVID-19 time, through global lens. And then after that, we'll invite you all for discussion and sharing. So I think those are our agenda for today. Before, sorry. Okay. So without further ado, I would like to invite Father Paul Mancelli, the Executive Director of Caritas India, to give his keynote address to our lovely meeting today. Father Paul, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, Adriana. Hello. Hope I am audible. Am I audible? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, Father.
Yes.
Thank you. Good to see and lovely to see Guido, my friend there, after a long time. And Adriana, good morning. I didn't see you earlier.
Father.
Yeah. Greetings, and Zal, Lalit is there, and many more. And these are the faces I could see now. So lovely greetings from India. And we are indeed happy to be the co-host of this beautiful reflection together as a Caritas fraternity. So I wish everyone good time of reflections together on the issues of farmers. I think this is absolutely our responsibility also to come together and put our thoughts together and see how we can do our mission in a more meaningful way. See, Caritas India, right from the beginning of these COVID pandemic times, we assembled together from different corners and we worked out a
Father, your sound has
strategy
some problem.
in line.
Father, your sound has some problem.
Is it audible?
Yeah, it's okay
We
now.
lost you a bit back there,
Yeah,
but it's okay now.
No, it's okay, Father. Yeah.
Hello?
It's okay now, Father.
Okay,
You can speak.
yeah, thank you. Working on four premises like be connected, communicate, be compassionate, and remain in service. So these were the four basic premises on which we were working. And we are coming together, rather we are really locked down and distanced because of the coronavirus. And in India, we have a famous saying that Karuna at Corona. Karuna in Indian terminology from Indian rich tradition, it means mercy. Karuna is mercy. So be merciful as your heavenly Father is merciful. I think that is our spiritual call, our commitment, our mission, to be merciful to all those who are really being down with this pandemic corona worldwide, and more so in our own respective countries. So my dear friends, and you must be also watching what is happening in my country, India. Maybe more than the corona, the supplementary effect of corona was even more alarming and painful. the massive exodus that we saw. There are 400 million migrant workers in this country. And let me tell you that maybe 60% of them farmers who are seasonally migrating to different places, especially from north to south, Sundarbans to Kerala, and this is a reality. And maybe this was the time they were supposed to be coming back for their agricultural activity. So it is in this context we really situate this reflection because of the kind of what to say, absolute distress that is being faced by our farming community, not only because of corona but also coupled with the other natural disasters like Amphan, which we had recently in the eastern coast, and Nisarga just last week in the western coast of the country. So putting all these pieces together, I mean, the scenario is absolutely a kind of distressing scenario. So my dear friends, when we come together, I would like to remind for myself that today the Eastern Church, the Eastern Catholic Church, celebrates the feast of Corpus Christi. And in the Latin tradition, we will be celebrating this feast on coming Sunday. So what I mean to say is that the food for our thought today is the food of the people. And for us, the spiritual nourishment, the food is nothing but the body of Christ. And the body of Christ, the spiritual food is invoking us, inviting us to think about the food of the people. So when we speak about the food and related problems of our poor people, especially the people who really cultivate and produce food, I think they need special attention in these pandemic times. Caritas India, we conducted in a very short span a rapid research on the issues of farmers, smallholder farmers, farmers who don't have land, the seasonal farmers. And the findings are quite revealing. I would like to pick up a few points from that research. Maybe Haridas is there. He was the one who was pioneering this research, rapid research. He may be able to tell you more kind of results of that research. But then I would like to just pick 2 points like the unemployment problem in the context of a pandemic, corona, COVID. It is almost 48.3%. People don't have work. Even the farmers don't have work. And there is 49% of the farmers no food to eat. Because harvesting is not taking place. And even if some food material is remaining there, it has no price. So what they have done is that they have started eating the seed also, which they have preserved for the cultivation to be done in the coming days. So these are some of the telling problems. So in the context of these problems, what do we focus? Make them the availability of food to eat, which is the basic need to sustain themselves. When we speak of food to eat, then comes the other issue, very pertinent issue of the nutritional food. More affecting the children, the pregnant ladies, the vulnerable communities within the farming community and the poor sections of the society. So food related, nutrient food, and maybe materials to produce the food, seed, input materials, and maybe a reasonable kind of income so that during the working period they can sustain. How do you relate that? Also, maybe a little bit of additional support for them to just live on until they find a means to remain in their existence for a short period of time. So when we speak of these things, or rather putting these pieces together, I'm just trying to put across to us for our consideration just three perspectives. I think we need to build certain perspectives in the context of the day. What are these three perspectives which I am trying to put across? One is simple but income perspective. Today the farmer needs to be really put into this perspective of having some income. But I don't know where this income will come from. That is where I think we need to come with a kind of ideas, new ideas to propose, and see that we can buy these ideas and see how we can really translate these ideas into some actions along with our farming community. So income perspective. And second one is maybe an integration of food system perspective. The food system needs to be have a kind of integrated approach. How do you relate with the traditional food system, the modern food system, instant food system, whatever it is? There are so many systems that we see today. And the third perspective is a policy perspective. When I say policy perspective, that is where I think we have to do quite a lot in working with the governments at different levels, maybe at the local level, at the regional level, national level, international level. We need to see how to work in those lines of policy. For me, I truly believe that we need to start with the rural policies. And that is where the chief protagonists of this policy should be the farmers themselves. They should be really capacitated, empowered to come on board and start networking, dialoguing, advocating with the local self-government that we don't have food, we don't have income, please come down, help us, because we are in the democratization process of getting things done, and then wherein the farmers are the chief proponents of the rural policy, a policy that becomes something very much beneficial to them unless and until the policies have no life. I think I don't want to speak much. I don't want to, because we have very enlightened speakers also coming to give us a lot of input. So I was trying to just put into context what is the problem in the Indian context, and the problem is neither different in other parts of the country. I know pretty well what's happening in Nepal, what's happening in Bangladesh, what's happening in Pakistan, what's happening in Cambodia, and what's happening in maybe Tajikistan, in many other parts of the country. Maybe there may be little bit of variations here and there, but otherwise the commonality of the problem is same, no? So I think that is where I would like to situate the point of our discussion today, and the food of our discussion today, food of our thoughts today, and see, try to build up some policy perspectives that really come to the help of our poor farming communities. My dear friends, I would like to stop here with a little bit of a reflection from the beautiful document letter that has come from Pope Francis just recently, which is being titled as The Life After the Pandemic. Most of you would have gone through that document. Several pieces put together from Pope Francis. He's really challenging, I think, each one of us, the Caritas people with a mission, to come with a kind of very strong, courageous innovation. That is the term that is used by Pope Francis, courageous innovation. I think if you read in between lines, there is such a lot of meaning that can be given to this beautiful statement that is given by Pope Francis. I think that is the invitation from our leader, our Pope Francis, who always energizes us, always enthuses us to come with a different way of being the church, different way of being the Caritas. In Caritas India, this is something which I always inspire people, how we can be a new Caritas in these challenging times. So I'd stop here. Thank you so much for your patient listening. I hope it was something useful. Please pardon me, I may be leaving in between. I have a meeting also with the Caritas International, our health task force, this afternoon, sometime in the late evening. So I may be leaving in between. Thank you once again so much for your listening. I'll be following this discussion. Caritas also, my colleague, is there. And I would like to especially appreciate Dr. Caritas and Ari for taking the lead to really come with a kind of beautiful planning of this webinar. And very good to have Adriana also on board from Caritas Internationalis. So that gives us the assurance that this messaging is going rather cutting across internationally. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you very much, Father Paul, for that wonderful keynote address that opened up our webinar today. And I think we will, as we go on, I think we will touch more in the more experiences and more stories from other parts of Asia. But we took notes on the key perspective that you offered. I think that's really useful for us. Now we are moving on to our first speaker for today, and I hope Father Lalit is ready. Father Lalit, okay, I can see you there, Father. Yes, so we'll hear from Father Lalit Tudu, the director of Caritas Nepal. He will share the challenges and opportunities for smallholder farmers in the context of COVID-19. And okay, over to you, Father.
Okay, thank you.
Ready, Father.
Ari, can you hear me?
Yes,
you can
very
confirm.
clear.
Okay. Thank you so much. And then also, I would like to thank every one of you, those who are present for this webinar, and also special thanks to Caritas India and Caritas Asia for this opportunity to share and also to exchange the learnings that we have been facing. Father Paul very well said it, that we are actually in a same boat. All of us are in the same boat, and then we are trying to across, and then our problems are almost the same. So I would like to update you a little bit on this. And also I hope a short video about half a minute is ready. Ari, once I finish, maybe you can just play just to echo the voice of the smallholder farmers. So my topic is challenges and opportunities for smallholder farmers in the context of COVID-19. It is estimated that about 87% of the world's 500 million smallholder farmers are in Asia and Pacific region. These farmers have less than 2 acres of land. Most of them depend on their household level for cultivation. South Asia itself is the home for more than 1/5 of the world's population, and agriculture is the main livelihood for nearly half of the population in the region. A large portion of this population in the region is smallholder farmers with very less land to cultivate. In Nepal, more than 65% of the population is based on subsistence farming, and about 60% of them are smallholder farmers with less than 0.5 acre of land. These farmers hardly meet their food requirement for 5 to 8 months per year from their own land. Though the smallholder farmers are the backbone of the food system, they have been disregarded for a long time, either from the government or from the private sectors, by not doing enough justice to them. Today, the world has realized the importance of agriculture and food, but still, we have not been able to value the smallholder farmers, the real heroes who have made food possible in our tables. These farmers have always been depending at the mercy of climate, market, and government policies. There are several challenges these farmers have been facing for many years, such as small fragmented land, unavailability of fertilizers and quality inputs on time, less technical knowledge, difficulties in having access to capital, or let us say a soft loans, less access to market, less or no irrigation, not enough infrastructure, and storage facilities, and so on. In addition, climate change has become another big threat to them in recent years. Climate change has made farming more chaotic with untimely and unpredictable rainfall patterns, increase in temperature, increase in drought, increase in insect pests and diseases, etc. The smallholder farmers from Asia and Pacific region are one of the most affected and vulnerable communities to the climate change. Now, another major threat of COVID-19 is addition to the plight of smallholder farmers. They are one of the most vulnerable who will be hit hard by the virus. Because of COVID-19, many of these farmers have already faced severe consequences and several more to come in the days to come in the near future. The disruption of the supply chain has already affected the economy severely. We have seen that the farmers in one hand had to sell their surplus production in nominal prices, while in other hand, the consumers have to pay very high price for the same. Another major challenge is the resettlement of returnees, migrant workers from abroad, especially in the context of Nepal. It is mainly from the Gulf countries and also our neighboring countries like India and all. The countries will see hundreds of thousands of these returnees very soon, and already the government has started repatriating people. Farming will probably be their first option since most of them are from rural areas and also the job opportunities have been seized in urban areas. To convert these challenges into opportunities, countries need to address to the issues on timely through smallholder farmers, friendly policies and interventions such as providing soft loans, subsidy in the agriculture inputs and farm equipment, investing in irrigation, collective farming, lease farming, more capacity building trainings, building storage facilities and infrastructure, crop and livestock insurance, value addition, post-harvest production, easing the market access, etc. and all. Likewise, increasing of the foreign exchange rate will severely affect the national economy for the countries like Nepal, where most of the commodities is imported. Thus, we have to encourage our farmers on less external inputs and use of more local resources, as well as to promote climate resilient crops and technologies for the sustainability. Similarly, there will be less foreign aid and funding available in coming days, which will also affect the agriculture system and farmers directly, since our agriculture also depends on the foreign aid here. Thus, the coordination and partnership among the countries and organizations within the region is very important to combat food and nutritional security, poverty, and climate change. As Pope Francis said, hunger is criminal and food is an inalienable right. Caritas Nepal has been working in sustainable agriculture, livelihood, and economic development for more than 3 decades through its several programs such as IPM, CREAM, NICE, SAB-BIN, for which Caritas Asia is also strategic partner, Nepal Earthquake Recovery Program, that is NERP, Nepal Livelihood Resilient Program, that is NLRP, DRR, etc. There is a strong coordination among the different stakeholders, such as local and provincial governments, universities, research and extension agencies, and several national and international partners. Caritas Nepal is very grateful to every one of them for their continued support and cooperation, and look forward to work together in coming years also to achieve a common goal of zero hunger by 2030. So I end my presentation here, and then I request Ari to play the video. It's just a half a minute video. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I think there was some problem with the sound, maybe weak internet connection because of that, yeah. But anyway, we could see the subtitle below. I think we have understood the voice of the farmer. So thank you, Ari. Thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you, Father. I'm so sorry with the sound. We tried that before and it worked okay. But let me know if you would like to play it again, maybe later on after the speakers. We complete the session with the speakers and we're moving on with the discussions. But I hope you can see the subtitles that give you the information. Thank you to Caritas Nepal. Thank you, Father Lalit, and also thank you to Chintan and your team members for working on the videos in the last minute. I think it is very well produced and it's very well captured the situation here that is now faced by the farmers. Now we are inviting Father Guido Trezani is the Executive Director of Caritas Kazakhstan. He and Caritas Kazakhstan just initiated a small-scale agriculture activity in his place, in his country, and he will share his points on sustainability for the challenging time. The floor is yours, Father Guido. There we cannot hear you. Father Guido, you are muted. We cannot hear you. Can you unmute your microphone, please? Yes.
It's okay? It's okay.
Yes,
okay.
now it's okay.
Okay. So I was telling that I'm a little bit confused in talking after this so important and influence speakers and not only speakers but how to say responsible for Caritas work in this field. As you probably know, in Kazakhstan we are still making our first steps, not only in agriculture but in all the fields of our social work. And was already 2 years, more or less 2-3 years, that we are trying to find a way to do the first step in agriculture, but was always difficult to figure out how could be the first step. And finally, we are quite often listening and talking about challenge and opportunities. This COVID-19, for us at least, was a huge opportunity. I mean that we're, how to say, living not in a such hard way as other countries were, this situation, but anyway, we're forced to stay at home, let's say. And but this, on the other side, allowed us to work more deeply and more strong in our 2 first agriculture projects. When I answered yesterday to Ari, asking from me the title of my speech, I proposed sustainability, and he was asking me about what, and was not about agriculture, you know, because for us agriculture was the answer to the big question in this time of challenge, how to run our projects in this time, because it's always strange to explain to other people in other countries, but for some mysterious reason, Kazakhstan is not so interesting for partners, for sponsors, international organizations, and so on. So it seems that or we are not interesting at all, or people think that we are enough independent economically that we don't need to be supported. And so we started to think about how to support our projects in another way. And so the answer came out from different meetings and opportunities with different people, organizations. And so finally, during this 3 months, our 2 small projects, means the 2 greenhouses. We have one near the office of Caritas Kazakhstan, and one run by Caritas Kazakhstan, but on the territory of a children village where I'm living and where I'm working too. We found an agreement with farmers, actually half foreigners and half local farmers, and we found an agreement and signed a contract for running these 2 projects already in a perspective of a business. So the idea is to the first step is to get an economical support in order to support other social projects, and in the same time to develop these 2 first small projects, and maybe repeating them in other regions of the country. Are already other diocesan Caritas are interested in taking the experience we are starting, and involving also local small farmers. So the plus of this experience is that we are just working, and these partners with whom we are working with, they are taking care completely about the economical part of the project. Means selling the staff, providing us all the seeds and materials we need for our work, and so at the end will be a good result for us in supporting again for the first step in supporting the projects, and then to use them for other goals. The greenhouse you see now, thank you, Ari, you see now is near the Caritas office, will be used in the next future, means in the next weeks already, for also for the our project for adults, young people with Down syndrome. And so this for training and for giving them a job also. In the children village, you see now that the other pictures, in the children village, it will be one of the main source of financial support for the life of the village. But in the same time as the greenhouse in Almaty, will be a possibility to provide to especially people with disabilities, but also for unemployed young people or people with whom we are working in the framework of our social projects, to provide them working places. And so it seems that this is making interesting the work of Caritas, and we already got in the last few weeks other new, let's say, proposals for new projects in agriculture, both here in the same places, but enlarging the kind of and the type of the project of the agriculture. How to say, development of cultures, and also to open everything this to open in other regions of the country. And it's a huge opportunity also what Father Paul was telling in the beginning. It's a huge opportunity for us to enter in contacts with the local administrations, because in this situation, this framework, surely we are living the same situation as in other countries. So a lot of people lost their work, their job, huge problems, especially in the countryside for just to survive even, and also already thinking about winter, about the hard situation that a lot of people will face in the next few months. So I hope that could be a good chance for us on all the levels to develop the projects and to start to work with the local administrations. I think that's all. And yeah.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Father Guido. I think it's very good sharing from you. That shows another context or realities in different parts of Asia, especially when you say that you're initiating this and also involving more local farmers, and how you try to tie it in with different different other sectors. Your and now we move on to the next speaker. We'll invite Adriana from Caritas Internationalis. She is the International Advocacy Officer, and she'll be talking about responding to the COVID-19 crisis through integral ecology. Adriana, the floor is yours. You're muted. Okay.
Yes. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Very clear. Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
Okay.
bravo.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ari. And good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's a pleasure to be once again connected with you, albeit through the internet, but still, I value very much this opportunity to renew once again our community, our being Caritas worldwide, and really connect the various levels where we work. As you know, I am an advocacy officer, meaning that I am most of my time, at least, involved in discussions about the new policy frameworks that impact upon our work, the Caritas work. And so I take a huge interest in what has been discussed so far or presented so far about the reality of agriculture in Asia, in several countries in Asia. And on this reality, well, I would like to just offer my very modest contribution today. I will not be speaking about policy frameworks, because that may lead us to a different direction and we risk to be too technical. But my contribution for this webinar would be rather a contribution of methodology, about a way whereby all of us from Asia and from the world can actually develop a common vision about the moment we're living today and its impact and effects on agriculture, on the life of farmers, and on global food security and hunger rates in the world. It is indeed a very challenging time, but as Father Guido rightfully said it can be also used and seen as an opportunity. So my contribution today will be, and hereby I'm beginning to share my video. Just give me 1 second to do it. Yes. Can you see my PowerPoint? Can you all? Can you see it? Okay.
Yes, we can
you.
see it, Adriana.
Thank you. So yes, my contribution today would be, as I said, probably more how can we build, a common vision, a common understanding. How can we read the crisis that is hitting our work today in a shared way, in a unified form? Well, inevitably, in Caritas Internationalis, the crisis has surprised us, has come when we were starting to work on the preparations for the 5th anniversary of Laudato Si, this great encyclical which has really really brought a breath of fresh air in the life of our church and in the work of Caritas through its perspective called integral ecology, a perspective where all of us are interconnected, and not only among human beings, but there is a very strong interconnection between human beings and our environment. Yes. So
Sorry, Adriana.
I would like to. Yes.
Can you make it as a presentation view?
Okay. You don't see it.
I'm afraid if maybe some of the participants are accessing this meeting through their mobile phones, and I think it's too small for them to see.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see it better now? Can you see it now?
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Better. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. I think my connection is low from my side. So even if I command it, then it takes a few seconds to be executed. But we will get there. Now, the problem is that I can't see anymore my text. Sorry, but if I see, if I put it on presentation mode, then I can no longer see my text.
Do you want me to
Okay.
share the screen for you so you can access your text?
Yes, probably so. Or if you know how to see both from my side, I would be grateful.
Or you can present it like this. I think it's okay. Yeah.
Or Adriana, you can look at the screen and present also.
Yeah. I think you can go ahead like this, Adriana.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Can you see it like this? Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that would help. Okay, thank you. So, no, Ari, I'm sorry. Yeah, can I ask you to share it? Because then I will go with my text up and down. Yeah, I'm sorry for this technical hindrance. Can you share my slides? Because you have them. So I will just put it on a normal mode. Yes, thank you, Ari. Yeah, can you move to the second one, please? Yeah, okay, just the one before, thank you. Sorry, I'm really sorry, colleagues. I thought this could work if I moved it, if I moved it from my own side, but it's gonna be complicated. Yes, so this methodology, well, the encyclical Laudato Si follows the methodology See, Judge and Act, which is a methodology now which has been used for a long time by the Catholic Church. And it is a means to respond to the needs of our time. It is a process whereby we can develop critical judgment about the situations we are seeing, we are experiencing, events which are disrupting, and structures, meaning existing prolonged situations. So on the one hand, we must, so can you move to the next one, please? Next slide. Yes, no, the previous one, sorry, the C. Thank you. So on the one hand, we must see and understand the plan which God has made for us. But on the other hand, we also must see and be aware of the present condition in our world, the reality of our times, which often falls short of embodying the values found in the gospel and in the tradition of the church. So our C stage in this process could respond to questions similar to what I've listed there. What is happening? What are the people involved? Who are the winners? Who are the losers? What is this? How is the situation affecting the people? And why does it continue? Why does it happen? The second one, the second stage is the judge. So next slide, please. Which is an evaluation, thank you, which is to evaluate our present reality in the light of our faith and in the light of our mission as Caritas. So it's really like a balancing of the various elements. We judge the values orienting our mission in the world. And I was happy to hear in the beginning Father Paul giving us perspectives. Indeed, this is what we should try to follow. So judging may also respond to some perspective, to some guiding questions. How do we feel about this situation? What do we think should be happening? What does our faith say about it? What do our Caritas principles say about it? And then, next slide, please. We are called to act, to build more just and human communities where we can see our values, the values we promote, so justice, truth, compassion, peace, unity, and freedom be embodied, be realized. Of course, we will do it with commitment and together as sisters and brothers. So the act responds to the questions: what is that we can do to bridge the gap between what we see, the reality, and what should be happening according to our values? What action are we going to take, and who can we involve in this action? So, you know, it's a prospective stage. And then, exactly, please, next slide. This methodology of the See, Judge, and Act is really embodied in the encyclical Laudato Si. Laudato Si starts with the see. So what is happening to our common home? And it just really and very clearly states that we need to see that our common home is falling into serious disrepair. It means, the encyclical means to present the most accepted scientific fact with reference to climate change, with reference to the issue of water, to the loss of biodiversity, to the deteriorating quality of human and social life, to the high rates of inequality globally, which affect all areas of life. And today we can add to these facts that we see the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, all of these facts, all of these realities have as the main victims the poor. Next slide, please. The encyclical continues with judging. This judging is done according to, on the one side, our principles, because our principles can make our commitment more stable and more coherent. But the other one is, I would say, an analytical side, which gets to the roots causes of the present situation, so as to consider not only its symptoms, but really its deepest causes. What has provoked the COVID-19? What has really made it spread so quickly? Therefore, which respects our unique place as human beings in this world and our relationship with our surroundings. And then thirdly, as we said, act. Pope Francis, in his encyclical, makes broad proposals for dialogue and action. So, meaning that not only it is the involvement of all of us, each of us as individuals, that counts, but also it is the policy aspect which is affected. The national, the local, and international policy. And this is something that really resonated in the previous presentations we heard. We need a policy dimension in this debate. Finally, the encyclical also says that change is impossible without our motivation. That requires education and awareness raising. The encyclical says we lack an awareness of our common origin, of our mutual belonging, and of a shared future, because this basic awareness would enable us to develop new convictions, new attitudes, and forms of life. So this is actually resonating to what Father Paul said in the beginning. How can we be a new Caritas? Indeed, we are called to courageous innovation, as the latest book of Pope Francis said. So based on what we heard so far, what does this pandemic calls us to do? Thank you, Ari. So first of all, the sea. We see it, it's a zoonotic disease. It's a disease that originates from wildlife with direct cause-effect relation with deforestation, tropical ecosystem degradation, and abuse of wildlife species. It was caused by the loss of habitat provoked by human disruption to natural ecosystems, which are often replaced by industrial plantation and cattle raising for human consumption. And this has entailed closer contacts between wildlife species and human settlements, enabling infectious diseases like COVID-19 to spread among humans. The judge, again, thinking of the encyclical, we see that everything is closely interrelated. And today's problem calls for a vision which is capable to take into account every aspect of this global crisis. So interconnection and interdependence should be today the lenses which we use to understand our reality and act upon it. And in the end, to act. In order to heal and to improve our world, we need to deeply change our lifestyles, which requires education and awareness raising, but also to change the models of production and consumption and the structures of power that influence and dictate society. And this is where our advocacy and campaign work should come into play. We should not just get back to normal, because our normal was sick. Therefore, and I conclude on this point, the way for the future is, in our understanding as Caritas Internationalis, to embrace a systemic long-term vision. So to not only to address now the effects of this pandemic from an emergency response, but to really already think of the longer term, of how to accelerate action to tackle the structural failures. How, in other words, we should really take advantage and use COVID-19 as an opportunity. So take advantage of this disruption to propose systemic change. And here come our look at food systems. I was happy to hear Father Paul calling upon them, an integrated food systems. So thinking of food systems, meaning including all the range of actors, of activities, and all the biological and socioeconomic circumstances which are involved in producing, processing, distributing, and consuming foods. We must respond to this crisis by reshaping food systems so that they can still support healthy diets and make food production and consumption aligned to sustainable development. This crisis has indeed demonstrated a number of failures, and the previous speakers have already mentioned some of them. I can just summarize them by saying, for example, the fragility of global food chains. Indeed, border closures and lockdowns, for example, have slowed harvests and limited transportation of food to markets, showing our dependency on food imports. Another fragility, there's been a lot of food loss and food waste in this time, where tons of perishable produce or milk have been thrown away as a result of this disruption of the supply chain and the falling consumer demand. And then lower or lesser access to food in terms of its affordability, the high levels of unemployment and of impoverishment, so the loss of income of people, and on the other hand, the rising costs of food have made access to food more difficult for many people. So at the time of people have less money in their pockets. And these are examples of disruptions which not only have occurred in Asia, but also in Western countries. So indeed, these are facts and consequences which are before the eyes of all of us. And just to finish, prior to this pandemic, already the figures of chronically food insecure people amounted to 820 million. And now you can imagine, and you know already that the latest reports by the World Food Programme show that food security of 135 million people is already at a crisis level or worse, and this figure could nearly double by the end of the year. So there is a really huge and desperate increase in hunger and malnutrition. as well as among children. This is another aspect which has been already evoked, the issue of nutritious food. So just to conclude, for us, maintaining a systemic vision where everything is interconnected according to integral ecology will be of utmost importance in the future of Caritas, both in our work on the field, so on agriculture itself, and also for our own development as public institutions, carrying also a moral weight in our society, and in our public action through advocacy and campaigning. And after this presentation, I will be happy to share with you the links to latest reports and websites where you can find very useful working tools about the latest impacts, the latest research on the impacts of COVID-19 on food security and nutrition, as well as on food systems. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the technical hindrances, but I hope now everybody could follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Adriana, for the presentation. Now I open the floor to all of you, the participants, to share their comments and thoughts or questions. Kindly raise your hands in the video, or you can use the raise hands feature in Zoom. And please turn on or unmute your mic, your video. Please say your name and your organization.
Thank you.
Kindly give your statement or questions briefly.
Thank you very. Many thanks to CA and double CI. Double CI stand for Caritas India and Caritas Internationalist for this wonderful opportunity to participate in the webinar. So our Father Lalit, Executive Director, shared his wonderful presentation in regards to the challenges and the opportunities in context of COVID-19. This is just my supplement to Father's presentation. Due to COVID-19, market channel has been breaked out. So few farmers in Nepal, they have been destroying their products. Similarly, agriculture technicians, even from the NGO level and also from the government level, they are not able to reach at farmers level or household level. So far, cannot provide technical backstopping to the farmers. So standing crops, like vegetables, are drastically damaged by outbreak of the pest and disease. At least it is about 40 to 60%. There is a big gap of the labor shortage at big agriculture commercial farmers level. So the most of the challenges our executive director has covered. This is just my supplement, and also I have the few supplement in regards to the opportunity. In context of COVID-19 pandemic, many Nepalese are returning from abroad. So there is an opportunity to engage them in agriculture sector to minimize the input cost and increase the crop productivity by utilizing the fallow land, because in Nepal in the spring season most of 70 to 80% lands became fallow. We have shortage the labor. So this is the big opportunity for the Nepalese context. Even the Father Paul already told that the agriculture scenario is different from country to country. So my just little bit recommendation, we can support on health materials to the farmers to have safety measures, and we can publish and provide agriculture education materials so that we can distribute to the farmers at household level so that they can manage crops, they can protect their crops. Also, we can provide we can support to farmers for virtual support, online service, and we can establish a strong mobile MNE, and we can lobby with local government to access quality inputs in time. This is just my recommendation. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There was Touch Basnet from Caritas Nepal, and I see a message in the chat box. Agustin, you'd like to say something? Please go ahead, and please say your name and your organization, please. Thank you. Agustin, are you there? If not, then we can move on to...
Yeah. This is Augustine from Caritas Bangladesh.
Go ahead, Augustine.
I am the head of sector. I am looking ecological conservation and food security in Caritas Bangladesh. Since last more than 30 years, I am involved in this sector, especially the agriculture sector, working with the smallholder farmers. Actually, during the COVID time, we have conducted 2 types of research, online research with the smallholder farmer. And we found that the smallholder farmers, especially those who are promoting organic farming, and they are responsive to COVID rather than other farmers. It's a very big thing. And as you know, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, we are doing a common project called Sabbin. We found that Sabbin farmers are more resilient than other farmers. Actually, the things are smallholder farmers are now facing problem due to COVID-19 is mainly their perishable products which they have produced. This is the season where Bangladesh farmers have produced a lot of mango, a lot of lychees, but they are not able to transport this product to Dhaka. They are selling this product very minimum price. So at their end, they are not getting their cost. So maybe they will be financially lose. The proposed opportunity which was given by Father Lolit, I do agree with this. But in addition, with further, should we work for the rural level advocacy for the smallholder farmers to reallocate the input support from government? Actually, the poor farmers should get it. This is our one thing, and it should be maybe in India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, all over the world, we can work on it. And finally, Adriana presentation is giving us how to see, act, and judge in the light of our Laudato Si. Now we have to reflect whether we'll back again before COVID situation. Actually, before COVID situation, it was not normal. It was really abnormal. Now, I was born and brought up in Dhaka city. I never, since last 30 years, I never see so much bird in Dhaka city. So though it is a very loss of people in all over the world, but the nature is growing. So we have to think, and we have to be a new Caritas mentality, what Father our executive director India has mentioned. Actually, we have to be new approaches in Caritas. So that's all. Thank Caritas Asia and Caritas India for this joint here. And my 5 colleagues are attending this training and meeting, and I'm really grateful all this thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Agustin, for that note. I see Nilani's hand. Before going to Nilani, I would like to invite our other friends, probably from Thailand or Cambodia, who would like to share something from their contacts. Thank you. Go ahead, Nilani. Nilani, you are muted. Can you turn on your mic? Okay, go ahead, Nilani.
Okay, can you? Okay, right. So then with this, good evening and good morning, everybody. And it is nice to see all the faces. So now actually with this pandemic situation, we have a very big like a food security program implementing with Caritas Sri Lanka. And we are working all over the country, and also with like 25 districts in Sri Lanka. So then we have to like then it was so difficult. 2 months completely inside. And then how we are going to implement this sustainable agriculture program, it was a problem for us. So then our national director and we discuss about this, and also we discuss this situation with our donor, and we have done like the need assessment from our all the Dyson staff and all the 13 Dyson directors involved in that need assessment. So then we thought from the beginning we will provide them material support. So then we readjusted our program, and now we are supplying seeds, plants, grower bags, and also handouts on the planting techniques, and also we are producing the video clips and how to do that, and also the compost fertilizer and the agricultural tools we provided. It is going on. And also because this is integrated, we are promoting integrated farming, and the bee boxes, poultry, goat, piglets, and quail. These livestock sector also we are promoting at this moment. We are providing actually materials, animals and the seeds and the everything. It is like a material support at this moment we are giving. And also we are promoting the inland fisheries also. And in this pandemic situation in last April and May, what we did, we stocked fingerlings into seasonal tank. Seasonal tank, it is about 40,000 fingerlings we have stocked. And also we started another for this moment, and also the drought more than and also the COVID restrictions, and that, and also the drought situation, and also the flood situation also, it is affecting our small farmers. To mitigate that, and we have provided the water collection box, the tanks, and also the water lifting facilities, and also the sprinkler irrigation system, and to manage the water system also we have supported. It is going on, and about 2 to 3 months we will work on this, and we are supporting like that. Actually about like a 13 million we have allocated, and 1 million for the each DC we have allocated to respond to this COVID-19 problem pandemic. That is we do, and we are going on. It is going on, and especially we are working with the government Department of Agriculture, Agrarian Services. Also, we are working with that, and also the next week we are starting the tree planting campaign also to respond to this Laudato Si. And so we are starting next coming June 11th. We are going to plant 400 plants on that day to inaugurate. That's the tree planting campaign. Thank you
very much for sharing, Nilani. Thank you very much hearing from you. I see a couple of raised hands. I see Mr. Ratana is joining us, and because he's also raised his hands. But before going to Mr. Ratana, I see in the chat box there are questions from Father Guido. Maybe it needs to be clarified. Are we or are already in work or in this perspective any common group practices and forms of response on our Asian regional level? I'm not sure if I'm very clear with this question. Perhaps you can clarify this question, or maybe someone else can, or maybe this.
I wonder whether Father Guido is there. Can he hear us?
Here. Yeah,
oh,
I'm here. Yeah.
Can you clarify the questions again, Father Guido?
Okay, nothing. I mean, is this webinar let's say, the only way to share or to inspire response on the local level, or Caritas Asia on the regional level already is running or is thinking about something to propose to us, like what Father Paul was telling in the beginning, just somebody is already opening the door and the way, trying to find responses, actions, and so on. What Adriana was telling, the last step, the most difficult to take action. So how Caritas Asia on the regional level can help us poor guys to take actions in the right way,
Okay, thank you, Father. We'll note that question, and I think we can go back to that question after we hear from the other sharing. I hope you don't mind with that. But I think it's a good question. How we are going to move forward with this, and I think this webinar is only one of the ways when we share, and that we can arrange more webinars, more sharings. But I think you are referring for more something strategic or bigger than that, and more measurable, of course. And I would like to invite Mr. Kim Ratana from Caritas Cambodia to share, and then after that, I'll invite Chintan from Caritas Nepal. I saw his hand raised. Go ahead, Mr. Ratana.
Thank you very much, Ari. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks for all the sharing at the beginnings, and sorry I could join you late, and I would like to share first about our situation in Cambodia. So our country also affected severely by the COVID-19 pandemics. So far we have no death reported, but still our country practiced the restriction measure so far, and this COVID-19 really affecting the Cambodian economy. In Cambodia, our main economic pillar is agriculture, industry, and service. So the two pillars already collapsed. The industry and the services is already collapsed with the effect of COVID-19, because industry, we are depending on garment factory. And now I think over half of the garment industry suspended and leave many of the garment factory worker unemployment. And the service sector, mainly hotel, tourism, so because of the lockdown and the close of the country, so no more tourists. So our service sector really collapsed, so leave many unemployment. And for the moment, we have a lot of return migrant workers from the neighboring, especially from Thailand. We have, I think, over 150,000 workers return from Thailand, and we have almost 200,000 workers has been suspended by the close down of different factory. So remaining the third pillar of the Cambodian economy, we still have a hope on agriculture sector. So this agriculture sector contribute up to 30% of our GDP, and we have almost 90% of Cambodian population are doing farming. Their majority of them are poor farmer with small land holding, and they're doing small agriculture practice. And Cambodia, we still have over 13% of people living in poverty. It means that around 2.5 million people, they are living in poverty. So they have insecure foods and insecure job, insecure income. So with this condition, we can see a lot of opportunity on what we call agriculture ecology, where Caritas Cambodia have been engaged in many decades with our farmer. But Cambodia also a country which is affected frequently by disaster. We also a disaster-prone country. So climate adaptations, today we still continue focus on climate adaptation, and at the moment is COVID adaptation, Yeah. So how we can moving forward with these challenges and assisting the most vulnerable groups. It means that over 3 million of Cambodian people who are facing a lot of problems today with jobless, and I think we are at the moment also affected by prolonged drought situation. So many places having no water. Yeah, difficult to find water for use, not only for agriculture. So I think in an area where Caritas Cambodia implementing, we try our effort with preventive measure, COVID prevention measure, to keep our staff safe, so that they can have capacity to continue support our partner in the community. So currently we are working on different programs to support ecological agriculture in the community. So the way we are working is introduce eco-friendly agriculture. It means organic agriculture practice in the community. So Caritas, we are working through a community structure. So we form the poor farmer to have a grassroots level structure, so that they have I think a power. So it's a way to empower them to work together to respond to their problem. We through this structure, we build the capacity so that the community can be solidarity in coping with the issue that they has and putting together development of their community. The business agriculture that we are introducing to community, starting from consumption, starting from household farming to support the poor farmer to have enough food, and then link to business agriculture. So in this business agriculture, so Caritas Cambodia working on an activity we call value chain development and value chain financing. So it's mean that linking the production group in the community to the market. Yeah, because in this way we can see a lot of ownership by the farmer, because we have them technically and financially to improve productivity, changing from monocropping to multiple cropping. Yeah, apply the ecology agriculture. Also have them to link to the government program on infrastructure development, like irrigation, access to irrigation, and mainstreaming the climate adaptation into their practice. So with this value chains development, so our agriculture cooperative are able to link with each other. So from village to village, from commune to commune, and we also link from district to the district and across provinces where Caritas is supporting. So this value chain development and value chain financing really help farmers to become ownership of their product, and help little by little the farmer own their market, you know. Yeah, and so they can sell, they can exchange, they can sell across agriculture cooperatives. And at the moment, we also expand from agriculture cooperative to the trader. So we are able to link this agriculture cooperative in many provinces where we support, to the Chamber of Commerce, to different buyer group and different trader that are interested in agriculture ecology, interest in organic products. So at the moment we are able to link this farmer group with many trader in the provinces like Chamber of Commerce and the direct buyer. On the other hand, Caritas also working a lot to educate the society, to educate the user about healthy product, about ecological agriculture that we are promote, you know, for them to support the products, the local product, especially the farmer product, which is which they have a label, you know. So we're working with the ministry to register all these agriculture cooperative so that they are legal community structure. And we also working with the FAO and Ministry of Agriculture to help them to certify the local organic product. Yeah, what we are practicing at the moment, we call a participatory guarantee system, a PGS system. Are you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. So this PGS system has been promoted at Caritas Cambodia, and in different provinces where we are working is recognized by Ministry of Agriculture and different country in the Mekong region. So community who join this agriculture ecological group, they access to the organic label, and they experience in this community-based guarantee system. Yeah, also is a preparation stage for the third-party guarantee system for them to access in the future. So in this process, we can see a lot of impact. So at one hand, people in the society become aware and begin to support more agriculture ecology. Our partner, our family in the community, changing from chemical agriculture into agriculture ecology, where the price are higher than the chemical. And at this COVID situation, I can see also some opportunity because Cambodia usually import a lot of vegetable, import a lot of agriculture product from Vietnam and from Thailand. So with the current restriction, I think we can see a lot of farming community begin to produce, begin to you know, to use the local products because the import product now are restricted. Yeah, so this also opportunity, and together with the local partner and the local church here, we are trying to find way also to help the poor people who are working on industry and services to go back to their homeland and also join the agriculture activity to rebuild their livelihood and food security. Another step, Caritas also promoting social enterprise. So I would like to also to share the document. If you allow me to share a PowerPoint about Caritas social enterprise practice.
We're concerning about now. Mr. Ratana, we are concerned about the time now. So if you can share the presentation in the link in the chat box, then we can
okay. So I
we still have other people to give comments or questions. after this.
Thank you. I just take another minute to
Sure.
finish the
Yes.
social enterprise practice as Caritas Cambodia. Caritas Cambodia began to link the farmer community to trader to businesses, and we are able to work with different companies, private sector, and to introduce about social enterprise. The social enterprise investment is to promote inclusive, innovative business with inclusive and eco-friendly, you know. So we are promote at community, at the town, and also we also encourage different business to join this concept of social enterprise development. So the aim is to promote innovative business that profitable to the society and not harmful to the environment. Because you see many businesses is running only the main purpose is for profit, for individual profit, and they're harmful to people and they're harmful to community. They're harmful to the society and environment. So this social business is to educate, to influence the ongoing business, to reflect, and also to start doing something profitable, but main purpose is for society and for environment. So this is the way that we are practice within the diocesan program, the Caritas project. So from community to national level. So at the moment we approaching also different private sector, especially the Cambodian Chamber of Commerce. They're also supporting a lot on the idea of this social business, you know, the business. So we're able to put different practice, different business model, like from agriculture business to service as well. So this business giving a lot of opportunity for employment, a lot of opportunity for poor people become entrepreneurship, and the business that benefit a lot to the society and environment friendly. So I will share with you the slide to the link. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah. So this is the program where Caritas Cambodia trying to promote at all level. Yeah, at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ratana. Thank you for your sharing. And I invite you to share the presentation in the chat box so that everybody can see it. And we are closing to 5:30 Thailand time, which is 8 minutes from now. I'm concerned about the time, but I think since we also started late for this webinar, so I think we still can have maybe 5 more minutes after 5:30. So I see Chintan's hand raised. So Chintan, please go ahead, but please be brief because we still have other agenda after this.
Thank you very much, Hari, Dr. Hari, Adriana, and respected father and my dear colleagues. Most of the things has been covered by our executive director. One or two things I just wanted to add is, as you saw it in the video, when I have been talking with the smallholder farmers for several weeks, these farmers are very discouraged now. Because of markets, supply chain market, these farmers are very, very disturbed and discouraged. So it is our duty to keep our shoulder to these farmers and instant support, some kind of instant support. And I am very sure that all the government, especially in Nepal also in recently, because of COVID, the government has increased significantly budget in agriculture sector. So there is a budget in the local government and local sectors also. So it is our duty as the Caritas people, it is our duty that we help these smallholder farmers to tap the government resources, say convergence. And also, another thing what we realize is, of course, technicians from outside technicians are very important for the local farmers. But nowadays, we also have to realize that we also have to build the capacity of the smallholder farmers themselves
Nowadays, like especially now the smallholder farmers or other farmers are also looking other people, outside people, in a suspicious eyes. So it is also very important that we develop the local farmers as a technical people and give them more exposure. And another one thing what I wanted to add is, there is a big many thousands of migrants are coming. We have to, and they are not only coming with their bare hands. Some of them are coming with some money, and some of them are coming from different skills. So it is also very important that we can help the local government to develop a web-based, like some kind of data management system where they can put their name and their skills, so that like in coming days we can get the benefit of the agriculture techniques from them. Most of them may be coming from Israel or abroad. We can get that agriculture techniques from them, where some of them may be carpenter or some of them may be electrician. So this way we can also help the local government and help the farmers, a win-win situation. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chintan. I also see some sharing going on in the chat box, and I think everyone can see that. And thank you for those who have shared. And also, I'm concerned about the time. So thank you very much for the discussion, for the sharing that you have. We believe that you have more things to share, more things to say about this topic, but we must conclude the discussion session now. And I would like to invite Dr. Haridas from the Climate Desk of Caritas India to provide us with the conclusions and a vote of thanks for this webinar. Dr. Haridas, are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Ari. Am I audible?
Yes.
Am I audible? Okay. While we are closing the discussion of this webinar, the title Prospects of Sustainable Agriculture in the Context of COVID-19, we had a lot of beautiful deliberations, beautiful discussions, and a lot of important points were shared in this webinar. So I would like to connect the first opening message by Zar with what Chintan was mentioning. Zar, in his opening message, said that we should not forget the migrants and farmers in our response to COVID-19. And Chintan said that farmers are highly discouraged. They are so disappointed. So what he proposes is to access the government schemes, because governments have allocated lot of funds for the sake of smallholder farmers, and the time has come for us to converge the scheme with smallholder farmers. Also, he was proposing build the capacity of smallholder farmers through technology transfer, through orientation, through transferring different methods of farming, etc. Going to the message of the keynote speech of Father Paul, he has highlighted the need to work together in achieving sustainable agriculture. He was saying for achieving this, he very strongly said that we have to be connected, we have to be organized, and we have to be compassionate, and we have to remain in service. These are the major points that he was highlighting. And he said that we have to be merciful. At the time of COVID-19, many people are coming forward to help the poor people. And he also mentioned about the result, the findings of the rapid research. So he said that in India, farmers have started consuming the seeds that is being saved for the next sowing season. So he was telling three perspectives of income perspective, food system perspective, and the policy perspective. Going to the presentation of Father Ledith, the director of Nepal, he was mentioning about the smallholder farmers. Most of the farmers are dependent on their household food cultivation. And he was saying that smallholder farmers are finding difficulty in this pandemic situation with respect to the harvesting, with respect to the inputs, with respect to the harvesting as well as post harvesting, etc. And he was mentioning that farmers are facing many challenges like quality of the inputs, difficulties in technical support, less access to market, problem with irrigation, and storage facilities. And he was mentioning something very strong, that farmers are getting less price while consumers are paying more. And he was also talking about the climate change as another major challenge. And some of the measures he was proposing, those measures are soft loans and subsidies to the smallholder farmers. The second proposal from his side is promoting collective marketing system, collective farming and marketing systems, providing infrastructure facilities, livelihood support, market access, capacity building, and climate resilient cropping pattern and technology transfer. Over to Father Guido. Father Guido has beautifully mentioned about the opportunities in the context of COVID-19. And he was reiterating the need of linking with the local administration, linking farmers with the local administration as the highlight of all the resource persons who have mentioned about the need of linking with the local administration. He has mentioned about the greenhouse farming system, which has provided employment to many people in Kazakhstan. So here, Father Guido was mentioning about the models that is created in Kazakhstan. Over to Adriana about the Caritas to develop a common vision. That is a very strong point from her side, that Caritas confederations together should have a common vision on agriculture undertaking, and the vision and a common understanding. Like Father Guido was asking, what would be the stake of Caritas Asia? First and foremost is Confederation of Caritas should have a very strong vision and understanding on the agriculture system in Asia and other places. So she was talking about the methodologies of see, judge, and act. Beautifully, she has connected how the see part of methodology, how we can judge on the situation, and how we can act based on what you have seen, what you have judged, and accordingly the act can be done. What is happening? And she was talking about the reshaping of food system. Reshaping of food system is the need of the hour. And she was talking about the slowed harvest. That is one of the major issues that is being faced by the farmers. Harvesting was not made possible. There was problem with the labors and increased dependency in farming. All that is being mentioned by Adriana in her speech. And some important points that came with the discussion by Tej Bahadur of Caritas Nepal, like marketing channel is affected. That is a very, very strong point that Tej has mentioned. And farmers are destroying the products. Very sad that farmers are destroying their products. He was giving some suggestions that the opportunity that farming in fallow land is a great opportunity, not only in Nepal but in other part of Asia, that there are a lot of land lying vacant. So he was proposing the farming in fallow land. And he was talking very strong point of educating, provide education materials to the farmers on safety mechanisms, because farmers are worried where to go, how to go. When they are going, they are getting affected with COVID-19. So we have to pass the information on how to on giving information on safety mechanisms. And Nilani has mentioned about the situation and the need assessment done in Sri Lanka, and the livestock support that she has done in that they have done in Caritas Sri Lanka. And Mr. Rick Kim Ratana gave a lot of strong points of ecological agriculture, climate adaptive agriculture, shift from monocropping to multi-cropping, marketing linkage, and Augustine Das given very strong message that soybean farmers are more resilient than other farmers. That is a very good stake of the soybean project. And Augustine has mentioned about the smallholder farmers are facing problems, and it is important to help them. And he was also reiterating the need to connect farmers with the marketing channels. He is also spoke about rural level advocacy, and Chindan was mentioning, as I said already, about the convergence and the technologies and the capacity building. So to thank everyone, I would like to thank each one of you for joining this important webinar. This is only a starting from Caritas Asia, I would say. Caritas Asia, this is only a spark from Caritas Asia to initiate the agricultural system. So I would like to thank Mr. Ari Nugrao for giving the welcome note and the close note also, and Zar Gomez for his very beautiful opening message, and Father Paul has given a very strong message, a keynote speech, and he has highlighted the needs of focusing agriculture, and Father Lalit has very strongly spoke about the challenges and opportunities of smallholder farmers in the context of COVID-19, and Father Guido spoke about sustainability for the challenging time, and Adriana for speaking. I would like to thank each one of you for spending your time in giving a very strong speech and giving us guidance on the issue of farming sector and the opportunities and the challenges and the opportunities and the ways and means to help our smallholder farmers. Thank each one of you for coming together in this common platform for sharing and learning. Thank you each and everyone, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Haridas, for such a it was very detailed and yet comprehensive conclusion for the day, for the webinar today that we have. And again, thank you to everyone. It was lovely to see you all. And we have reached the end of this webinar. Again, thank you. Thank you. This is a very, very good event for us. And like
let's closing the sharing.
Like what Haridas shared, this is only a spark, and hopefully we can do this more times in the future. And before we end the session, I would like to invite everyone to turn on their video so that we can see you all, because we're going to take a group picture. I think this is a very, very good opportunity for us.
Ari,
you can turn on. Yes.
Do you need a closing prayer?
Please.
That's good.
Let's give a big claps to each other. Big claps.
Okay, now can I invite everyone to turn on their video? On the count of three, we'll take a group picture, and then we'll share it to you all. Maybe I will take this a couple of times. Yuri, it's good to see you, but it's backlight, so you are quite dark. Okay, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Lovely, lovely. And I will share this picture and also recording of this webinar from today. And again, this is only a start. You can like us in our email and respond to Father Guido's questions. What's next? How do we move forward strategically as Caritas Asia in this region? One announcement that we like to have to say to you is we are also going to organize another webinar on the 23rd of June from 2 to 4 p.m. Thailand time. Again, 23rd of June this year from 2 to 4 p.m. Thailand time. This webinar is organized together with Caritas Asia and Caritas Internationalis, and we'll be focusing on the Sustainable Development Goal number 2, this zero hunger. I think this is still related to our webinar from today, and then we will have a focused discussion on advocacy. We'll have a resource person from SDG to Advocacy Hub, and hold on. You can find more information about SDG to Advocacy Hub in this link I just shared in the chat box, and we will share a more detailed information about this webinar in the coming days to all members of Caritas members in Asia. Thank you again, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and again, we'll invite you to share for a future topic that we'll discuss for this webinar. And I would like to request Zar, Adriana, and Haridas to stay for another 5 minutes just for a debriefing or closing discussion. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Have a good morning.